Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the extended break and the extended delays, but we were just waiting for Cyan versus Silky to wrap up. It has now concluded, and we have one qualifying match remaining here in the StarsWar 11 Asia Open Qualifier number 1. We have a fresh best of 3 between a Zerg and a Protoss. Here we go. So again, we have been patiently waiting, and I promise it'll be worth the wait as we're loading into game 1 on hard lead. And if you're in the chat, if you happen to be in the chat, lurking or otherwise, then predictions will soon be open. They'll soon be open, so you can place your bets on who you believe will take the series and qualify for the closed qualifier. And as we load in, there it is. Predictions are live. Good luck. Good luck, Poppy. Good luck. Predictions open. There we go. So good luck with your Gamba as you do get it on. And here in the bottom right-hand corner of hard lead, we have our blue Protoss player from the land of China representing his new team Offside. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Chinese Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Twisted Minds, of course, as well as SCBoy, WTL, and all observers out there going for a 15-15. It is Mokou. Here we go, 15 hatch into a 15 spawning pool. Interesting opener so far, very safe opener out of our Zerg player. For those that are curious, the purpose of this opener is so you can expand on location without being disrupted, without being, you know, interrupted here at that natural. It does mean though that you get a later gas. It is going to be a gas after the hatchery, after the spawning pool, so it is going to be quite delayed. Does mean that link speed is going to be later as well. It means that Firefly should be able to get his third base up and running without too much issue, but likewise, we do have our Zerg player looking quite comfortable as well. So a very safe opener out of Mokou. Meanwhile, Firefly back at home getting ready for his own setup as well. Now, Firefly as a player, we have yet to cast him today, but he's quite a unique player as well. He can be quite aggressive, can be very flexible with his builds, and often does throw out curveballs as well. He can be a very unpredictable player, which is why he's a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to cast. He's always willing to whip out something crazy, something wild. Standard play is within his realm, or is within his wheelhouse, that is true, but we see less standard play and more kind of deception out of him, going into Glaive Adepts, going into Charge, going into this heavy Archon style. I expect Firefly to be the one to really spice things up, and it's going to be on Mokou to respond. It's going to be on Mokou to respond and to react, as it was a gate expand into the Cybercore standard opener here out of Firefly. Meanwhile, Mokou just droning up back at home, working towards his eventual third. Eventually. See in chat, all in Mokou. Oi, Mio, I told you before, you better be here tomorrow. You better be here tomorrow, Mio. Just saying, just saying. We need you in the qualifier, Pappy. We need you in the qualifier. As for now, we're going to be droning, going to be saturating our bases. It is going to be a Stargate opener out of Firefly. Should be Stargate into Oracle. But again, we'll keep our eye on our Protoss to see if we do deviate and head into something crazy like a Void Ray, for example. Tis always possible here. As First Adept is going to be moving out for a bit of a scout. We do see Mokou, of course, getting into some safety lings. Just massing a couple of lings here in the main base. I say massing a couple. That's more than we're used to here. Just hiding these 6 lings in the main base. Ling speed is on the way. We are droning behind this, but I'm curious if we're going to make any more workers. 3 drones on the way. Okay, there we go. We are making an extra wave of drones. Just being safe. Clutch Evo Chamber Wall thrown down as well. Do love to see it. And so far we have minimized our losses. 1 drone goes down. We got 1 worker so far, but we shut down the Adepts. They will be cleaned up. One of them will escape, but the other does fall. And with this, we have, you know, minimized losses. We're establishing ourselves in these 2 bases. Third base is getting up and running. And it is going to be the Oracle first. The Oracle is moving up for Firefly. Ooh, and we are delaying the second Oracle, going for a very fast Robo into Twilight Council. This is what we spoke about. This is what we mentioned about how Firefly is willing to really spice things up and throw a curveball in more often than not. Standard play is not often seen from Firefly, and this looks like something like, I want to say Glaive Adepts. The Robo is going to be an interesting one. This could be a 2-base all-in. I'm feeling a straight up 2-base all in. We throw down additional gateways. There's going to be 4 gates set up for the time being. 4 gateways, Twilight Council, Robo. Whether it's Blink, Charge, or Glaives, yet to be determined. We have all 4 gases here. Are we rushing into 2-base Blink? Ooh, there is a Templar Archives on the way. Okay, that does rule Blink out. Charge Lot Archon would make more sense from here. Okay. Meanwhile, it's going to be a lair first out of Mokou. Going for a lair first. Again, so far, pretty standard response here. Just going to be droning up on 3 bases. Templar Archives is on the way. Charge is going to be a little bit delayed here for Firefly. Is holding up on it. Going for the Archon drop first. So, this is a very interesting build that we have seen every now and then. We've seen Classic do this. We've seen Nightmare do this. Basically, it's a delayed Archon drop. With High Templar, not with Dark Templar. Not with DTs. 3rd base is being taken. This is not an all-in. We're going to be moving out with an Archon drop. This will eventually lead into Charge and Immortal production, I imagine. Yeah, Forge is on the way. Oh, good movement here out of Mokou. He does get on top of that Prism. And there are those High Templar. Again, going for those Archons. Going for the drop play. Meanwhile, Mokou ignores the main army. He's going straight for the 30. He wants to force a cancel. Does want to force that cancel. Back at home, we've cut drone production. We're making roaches. Making more lings. Oh, Mokou is supply blocked. Is supply blocked for a moment. Does force a cancel. Yeah, cancel onto that 3rd base. We're going to surround here. Adepts are going to be shut down as well. Yeah, good cleanup from Mokou, but he's taking a lot of losses from that Oracle, but it's now out of energy. It is out of energy. Roaches are staying back at home. But again, we found the damage we were looking for. All we wanted was to cancel this base. Cancel the 3rd. And with that, Firefly is stuck with 2 bases, going for a pretty big gateway explosion. That is going to be 8 gates in total. There's Charge that we spoke about. There's that Archon production as well. Sorry, the Immortal production. So again, Charge or Archon Immortal. We're building up a death ball of an army. Firefly should only be harassing with those Archons, but because of the cancelled 3rd, the Archons have to stay at home. They're stuck at home instead of harassing. So Mokou, he's free to drone. He's freely droning up, saturating his bases. Hydra Den is on the way. I like the idea of rushing into Lurkers against this kind of army. It's risky, don't get me wrong. It's risky because we are pushing out with quite a terrifying force. We'll see how we make use of this Hydra Den. Again, as we mentioned, we're going to be building up towards, I want to say, at least 3 Immortals. Bunch of Archons, Charge Lots. We're going to have Sentries for Force Fields. It's going to be a terrifying attack when it does move out, and we need to prepare for that. We need to be ready. The Hydras, they will help when it comes to dealing with the Prism, at least. But I'm not entirely convinced by Roach Hydra composition, whether it's sprinkling in Lurkers or sprinkling in Ravagers. Or even Banelings. That would be ideal. Now though, Firefly still just gathering energy on those sentries. Ooh, interesting. We're going for a Bay. That I was not anticipating. Okay, so the Bay tells us that we actually want to work towards Colossus. We're not pushing out with Massive Mortal Archon. We're going to be going for a later timing instead. Interesting. Yeah, there's a second Robo to get into double Robo Colossus or even Disruptor production, which means Firefly, he's actually staying back at home. He's staying back home, getting his 4th, being far more defensive instead. Now, what this means is that Mokou is free to saturate his bases, but he's staying on a low drone count. He's staying on 66 drones for now, knocking down these rocks. And Mokou may want to try to push into this. Firefly out of position. He does move out at the wrong moment here, distracted by those roaches. The Hydras, they do collapse here on top of the 4th. The Archon goes down. The Prism. Oh, Prism gets sniped as well. These roaches are doing a great job at distracting Firefly, and we canceled the center base. Big moves here out of Mokou. Hydras, they were revealed. Disruptors are on the way. Mokou moving out towards that 3rd. Doesn't quite commit. Is going to pull back. The Immortals looking a bit exposed. Don't quite get on top of them. Now we do see a couple of Ravagers on the way. Again, Ravagers are going to be necessary against these force fields. Against the sentries. But it's only a single Ravager. As Firefly is trying desperately to get that 4th base. I mean, again, Moku's done a great job at denying bases over and over again. The third and the fourth. Never gets off. Ooh, decent connection, but we get on top of the disruptor. It looks like it barely will survive. But we snipe a sentry. Overcharge is popped. And Mokou, he's maxed out. He's maxed out. He hasn't droned. He's staying on 3 base economy. Better Nova. Once again, good force fields. There just aren't enough Ravagers. And there we go. Morph in another 2. Prism got sniped earlier. We have not remade the War Prism. Firefly going to be stuck on these 3 bases. Desperately was trying to expand, trying to take another. Now, what's important here is that Firefly did bleed out an Archon, but he has been able to maintain his Immortals and his Disruptors. He hasn't lost them. And they're building up over time. And Firefly is pushing at the same time. His 4th base is going to be denied once again. The Archons. We catch an Archon. Good Nova. Did have a good over there from Firefly, but we deny the 4th base. We're starving him out. Or at least we're trying to. That's a lot of Zealots. It's a lot of charge lots. Yeah, we collapse on this. Oh, the Nova! Ooh, a bit of friendly fire. Killing some Zealots, but regardless, we will force this army back. At the same time, the 4th is denied once again. And I'll be honest, even though we've been denying the 4th base over and over again, that's true. I still favor Firefly's army. I still like his army more. If he can bring everything together. Yeah, catch some Hydras. Expensive losses there for Mokou. Big Nova as well. Does connect. Oh. Mokou is forced back. Lings, they got the Zealots. Nova's connecting once again. Oh my god, we take down the Hydras, we take down the Lings, we clean everything up when it comes to the flank, and we're getting on top of the base. And Mokou, he cannot defend, he cannot deal with this army. I spoke earlier about either getting into a more Ravager-heavy army, Banelings, or Lurkers. We needed something, we needed some kind of backbone, big connection on those Ravagers. And this army cannot be dealt with. We're snowballing out of control, we kill the center base. Firefly, he may not have been able to get a 4th base up and running, but it didn't even matter. Didn't even need the 4th. Novas, they just keep going off. Bleeding out a couple of units towards the end here. Firefly forced to retreat, but he dealt the damage he was looking for. He killed the base. We do see the Zerg player stuck on 3 hatcheries. He's stuck on 3 bases. Meanwhile, Firefly finally gets his 4th. And that's what matters right now, is that even though the 4th is very late for Firefly, I mean, he has one, and Mokou doesn't. Mokou does not. Firefly just reinforcing with an extra wave of units before moving out once again. The Novas, they just keep popping off. Oh my god. Yeah, the Novas are just getting far too much value here. Trading so well. Finally, a couple of disruptors are going to be going down. But it's too little too late. At the same time, a big Zealot run by here on the right-hand side. We collapse here on Lings and Hydras. Good trade by Firefly. GG gets called as Mokou gets pulled apart. And Firefly takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG. And that was not a bad game out of Mokou. I did appreciate how active he was. He was denying the 3rd base, the 4th over and over again. Just really, he was being really active with his army and achieving a lot with it. But as we mentioned, the composition of the army was lacking. Like, he could never fight head on. Again, he needed to either transition into those Lurkers or throw down the Baneling nest and have like Banelings to support. Invest a little bit harder into Ravagers to deal with the force fields to zone away the army. We needed something more there. Just pure Ling Roach Hydra. It's not ideal, as we saw against the kind of army that Firefly was working with. And with that, Firefly, he takes game number 1, breaks free from his chains, counterattacks and snowballs out of control. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Número 2. And how will this go? I mean, again, Firefly is 1 game away from taking it all himself. 1 game away from taking it all, but alas. I want to believe in Mokou. I want to believe, based on that last game, like, I feel like he has it in him here to fight back. I want an ace match. I want this to go the distance. We'll see if we can make that dream a reality. We shall see. As for now, it looks like we're just waiting for our players to get ready, to prepare themselves. Oh. Looks like we're just missing a player. Getting things ready. When it comes to game number 2, do we have our map? I know the videos were being done earlier. Oceanborn, there we go. Game number 2 is going to be on Oceanborn. Game 3 is going to be on Hecate if the game goes that long. If it goes that far. We're here for it. We are here for it. We are ready for it. And it looks like our players are finally ready as well. Players are ready. And you can hear the beeps. And when it comes to Mokou's playstyle, again, it's either, like, overall, I liked how aggressive he was. It's either teching up or committing, right? Like, it's one or the other. Either we tech up into a higher form of tech, or we just commit and double down and just go all in. It's one or the other. We can't go down the middle here. There is no middle ground. Not in StarCraft. Not in StarCraft. As a letting in. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have... Oh, one moment. God. They changed colors. Un momento. Bam, there we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Protoss player representing Team Offside, one game away from qualifying for the closed qualifier. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player, also from the land of China, representing his team, Twisted Minds, and also representing SCBoy, WTL, and all observers out there. It is Mokou. Here we go. Oh. And already we do have the probe getting across the map. Gets here just in time, does deny the expansion. And Mokou forced to take the unnatural natural. Gonna be here at the third base location. Where is the drone going? Pull first. Uh-oh. I was like, hold up, something's wrong. We're going for a pull first. The drone is moving out across the map, and we are going for a proxy hatch. Okay. Mokou, you mess with the pull, you get the Mokou. Let's go. As we're getting across the map, the proxy hatch has been thrown down just outside the natural, but I believe that's within range of the gateway. Oh, that's a little bit too close. It's within range of the gateway here. Less than ideal. Firefly is now fully aware of what's going on. Again, one hex to the left. One little hex. Maybe two hexes. And it would have been out of range. So, unfortunately, Firefly, he has extra time here to prepare. Throws down the Cyber Core. Throws down the Forge for cannons. And this is the ideal response. For those that are curious, if you're a Protoss player, if you're in this scenario, in this game state, you have very limited production. You have one gateway to work with. So we need the Forge for cannons. Like, static defense is your best friend because you are so limited with how many units you have to defend. So cannons, shield batteries are going to be on the way across the map. We at least have the spawning pool. No Roach Warren, no additional gases. Link speed is being researched. Mokou has yet to expand. We're committing to this. Drones have arrived. We're going for a spine rush. We're here for the spine coolers. Cannons have already started. Again, because of the faster scouts, we have the faster response. Spines are going to be on the way. Lings applying a bit of pressure here. We skipped the Zealot. Uh-oh. That's a little bit greedy, but we did skip the Zealot for Firefly. Spine coolers are in production. There could have been a Zealot here as well. We're going for a Sentry. And we're going for a Stargate. Now, this Stargate should be for a Void Ray. Void Rays can work wonders in this position, as we have very limited anti-air. We went for a Spore first, actually. Okay. My apologies, I didn't notice that, but it is going to be a Spore first, followed by the Wall of Spines. Queen is out. The Queen is protected. Is locked in. There we go. Have to break it free. Spankles are pushing forward. I'll be honest, I don't think I'm fond of the Spore first. I think we could have gone for a Spore second. As you can see, it's a little bit early. It's not really adding too much value. So, interesting decision there by Mokou. We're going to get the Forge. The Forge is going to be shut down. Ooh, Spinecrawl a little bit too close. Yeah, it's a bit too close there. The Queen taking a lot of hits. Their cannon's going to town on these spines. Clutch Transfuse. But that Spinecrawler is going to go down. But we have 3 more rooting. Did I say 3? I meant to say 2. As the shield battery puts in a lot of work. The cannons, they're holding the line. We pop the overcharge. We kill another Spinecrawler. We're down to 1 Spinecrawler remaining. We're within range of the Spore. It's unburrowed. We go for it. And the Void Ray, it's going to shut this down. The Void Ray reigns supreme within range of the shield battery as well. Firefly gets the Queen. And what did he lose? He lost 1 Forge. He lost the Forge. That's it. Void Ray going ham. Going for the Overlord of all things. Oh, the Force Field! Clutch Force Field out of Firefly. Zones away those Banelings. The bust will not happen, but we still have more Banelings on the way. We're still fighting links across the map. GG gets called. The rush has ended. We have defended, and Firefly qualifies for the StarsWar 11 Asian Closed Qualifier. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Firefly as he does take the series 2-0, does qualify for the closed qualifier. Again, Firefly is arguably the favorite player to take the entire region and to qualify for the main event. He's poised to do so, but can he go the distance? So far, he's taken the first step, the first couple of steps, and he's made it to the closed qualifier. My condolences to Mokou. Again, he didn't have a bad game 1. Game 1 was pretty good for Mokou. Remember, Mokou, he was denying the third. He actually killed the... I'm sorry, no, he canceled the third base. He canceled the 4th base as well. Like, he was doing a great job at maintaining control of the economy of his opponent. But again, his army was lackluster. The composition was lackluster. Like, the Roach Hydra... The Roachling Hydra just didn't really work out well against specifically the Immortal Archon Disruptor composition. And Mokou did crumble before the might of Firefly's army. If you remember at the time, it was like, Firefly, sure, he could never take a 4th, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter, he had a Death Ball, and he was able to snowball out of control with that. Here in Game 2, it was an interesting all-in. It's interesting because it was not the initial plan, so I don't know how well rehearsed it is. If you remember, we were denied the natural, and then Mokou went across the map. And as we saw, it was it left much to be desired, right? The hatchery was a little bit too close, so because it got scouted so soon, we had the Forge. We could throw down the Forge immediately. We got into cannons immediately. Even before the spines finished, we already had a wall of cannons. Likewise, the Spore was a little bit too soon, and yeah, it was just it did just crumble before the might of Firefly. Really good defense, really good reaction out of Firefly. Some shaky execution out of Mokou. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Firefly. And I wish him the best. I wish him the best to make a deep run in the closed qualifier. Meanwhile, if you're watching, and if you are a fan of some of these other players, then don't worry, because the players that didn't qualify have another chance tomorrow. So, quickly going over the bracket, !B, if you guys want to have a look at the Wikipedia page. But we have our qualified players. We have Firefly over Mokou. We have Coffee 2-0ing SCV, the Protoss player. We have Cyan taking down Silky in a best of 3. Took him down 2-1. Big win there for Cyan. Went to the ace match, but Cyan does take it in the end. And a big shout out to Rex, the Taiwanese Zerg player. The T-Rex, if you will, the king himself. He also qualified for the closed qualifier. So very big results coming in. Really proud of all of our players. And we should be seeing the players that didn't qualify here tomorrow. So players like Silky, Jeshi, SCV, and Mokou alongside Kingslayer, alongside Maxed, Nice. Don't forget about Nice, the best player in all of Taiwan. He's also there as well, and many others. I say many others. I saw Miyamika in the chat. He wasn't a part of this qualifier, but he has a chance to compete tomorrow. So we're going to be seeing, I'm sure, some more Southeast Asian players, some more Chinese players, all duking it out tomorrow to make it into the closed qualifier. So if you want some more StarCraft action, and if you enjoyed this qualifier for StarsWar 11, be here tomorrow in just under 24 hours. In just under 24 hours, in around 22 hours time, we're going to be live tomorrow with the final open qualifier. And then we're going to be starting the closed qualifiers. Oh boy. The big names are going to be facing off soon thereafter. So make sure you're a part of it. Make sure you are a part of it. I see in the chat, patch when? Soon TM. For those that are curious, the patch is not finalized. So the patch is currently live in the PTR, and based on feedback, the patch can be adjusted. So don't get ahead of yourselves. Like the changes to the Cyclone may be adjusted, the changes to the Widowmine might be adjusted. Like in general, nothing is set in stone yet. It is live on the PTR, which is the public test realm. As I mentioned, it is public, so if you want to try out the patch yourself, and if you want to be a part of the feedback process and the trial and error process, the quality control, then you can download the PTR. There is the option in the Battle.net client, in the Battle.net app. You can open it up, and there's an option for the PTR. You can download it, you can play it, and in case there are bugs, or you can play around with things, you can, you know, try and make sure that everything is on point and everything is as it should be, or as intended. Maybe that's a better way to put it. So yeah, if you're curious, you can download the public test ROM yourself. There might be some PTR tournaments. I think there's also a mod in game that has the patch applied. So there might be some people to keep an eye out for Wardy, for example. I'm sure Wardy, maybe some others are willing to maybe run like a PTR tournament later on. They might do that just for like testing purposes. So keep an eye out for that. And likewise, we were able to showcase some of the new maps. A couple of days ago, we showcased some of them. We do run our own tournaments, so we're going to have a discussion, and we might decide to enforce the new maps. That would be a lot of fun if we did that. So we could try to do that ourselves. We'll see. We'll see. Exciting times for StarCraft with the upcoming patch and the upcoming maps. Very nice stuff. Very nice stuff. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for the support. We do appreciate it. As I mentioned, we're going to be back tomorrow with StarsWar 11 Open Qualifier number 2 for the Asia region. We're going to be back tomorrow with Qualifier number 2. Otherwise, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. ! Socials in the chat. Oh, predictions, right? I have to pay out the predictions as well. Have to pay them out. But yeah, you can follow us on all the social media. You can follow us on Discord. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, ! YouTube in the chat. We're also currently live on YouTube as well. So again, plenty of content out there. We do upload on YouTube on a daily basis. So plenty of VODs, plenty of StarCraft. It's all on YouTube. I'm just opening it up. It's all on YouTube and Twitch if you're interested. And we have a Patreon. You can see the goal of the Patreon just under Mokou's name. But we do have a goal to fully fund our tournaments. We do host weekly tournaments, and the Patreon is set up to fund it and to grow our tournaments as well. So if you're interested, you can do so via Patreon. Otherwise, thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego. See you tomorrow.